And what's up, everybody? I'm back again, nice and refreshed from my vacay. Yeah, this surge, Doc Fiction, Papa Doc, and yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been a good time. Went to Yosemite, had a lot of fun up there. Seen some wild turkeys and deers, and people are like, "Oh, you're excited about deers?" I'm like, "Yeah." You don't see deers out here in Carson. So like any type of animals and big trees is beautiful. My co-host, Nikki, is not going to be here today. She had a little, not an emergency, but, you know, some things to do. But I do have a guest today by the name of Dave Lillie. And he is actually going to tell us a little bit about Tai Chi and how that practice can help us with not just with our overall self, but also like in our dance, right? And then he's also going to teach us some Tai Chi. Okay. And I want to welcome my buddy, my homie, Dave Lillie. What's up, man?
Hey, Serge, how are you, brother? Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So first things first, how did you get into like this practice of Tai Chi?
Tai Chi, yes. Well, in my age group, which I was a young teenager in the 70s, everyone's heard of those crazy kung fu movies that used to be on Saturday mornings for anyone in my age group. So my first exposure to martial arts were, men flying and spinning backwards 3 times, landing on a branch 20 feet above the man, and this kind of crazy activity, and it got me interested. And then obviously Bruce Lee movies. So I guess in my early 20s, I started following a local martial arts school that was teaching Wing Chun, which is an art form that's been made famous by the Ip Man movies. Bruce Lee was a student of Ip Man, and everyone knows that now. And I got involved in that art form, that martial art, for some years. And actually, a student that came in after I was involved in the school for numerous years came in, and I heard he was a teacher in the public school system in Long Island. But I didn't know that he was a high-level Tai Chi man, and he was able to gain a lot of the uh, principles and the use of Wing Chun very quickly, and rose up in the system fast. And I was fascinated. I said, "How did you do this?" And he goes, "Well, I'm a Tai Chi guy." And one thing led to the other. I started studying with Mike Pecor of Tai Chi of Long Island, Tai Chi Kung Fu of Long Island, and stayed with that system for numerous years. Um, I tell you what I did learn, which, coming from a combat art like Wing Chun, is that Tai Chi is a flowing system. It has explosive energy in it, but the benefits far outweigh. How can I describe it? It is a combat art. It can be used as a martial art, but it's an art similar to yoga, where it creates health, well-being, and balance. And I can use that. I think a lot of us can use that.
Yeah, most definitely. That's why I mean meditation is something that like at least for me, it's been helping me a lot. So when I see, when I go to the beach or when I go even to this garden where I walk, there's people that are doing Tai Chi. And it's generally like it looks very meditative. And when I watch it, like I think about waving. I think about
Right,
waving when I watch it. And it's
right.
like, I did this video where I was waving in the at the garden, like they called it the magical trees. That's what some of the homies been calling it, right? And but that like really it really felt like that when I would watch the kind of, it looks like they're breathing in, pushing out, kind of bringing in the, bringing in the spirit, pushing out. And I
Mm.
think that was so cool. And then like that really like got me interested in it um when I knew you were doing it. So what are like what are some good practices of it?
Physical practices uh,
Yeah.
can be something as simple as breathing, which we've done with working with Todd. He'll do his 30 breaths, sets of 30, which is very yogic, of yoga nature. Tai Chi has the same thing. You hit the nail on the head when you said they're breathing in or taking chi, energy from the earth. It's very earthy. I've heard of people taking off their shoes and doing it in the grass at the park. That's not an uncommon thing to see. In the city at 4 in the morning during February, I don't think the folks in Chinatown do that in New York City because the pavement's, 30 degrees. But I see plenty of people barefooted. So what that does is it kind of connects us to earth, which is a meditation unto itself. And the breathing, you absolutely hit the nail on the head where we move, we inhale and exhale. It's kind of natural when you do anything strenuous. When we go to the gym, you'll always say on the part where you're pushing out and you're straining the body, exhale. And you find a lot of the movements in Tai Chi, the movements that go outward, where the hands are going out in front and you're stepping, will have breathing where you're exhaling. And that in itself is what I touched on earlier. That's the benefit. For me, it's become a health thing. It is a martial art, and I do teach it as such, where the stances are low. We do a lot of stretching. The form done by old folks who are masters is very small, what we call close framed, where their hands will be close to the body, and we do stuff. It doesn't mean we don't follow their way, but we do it a little bigger and wider, stretching for health purposes and to strengthen the body.
Yeah, what's crazy is that right now when you were doing that, like just these little movements, like that reminds me of like the mannequin,
Yes.
which is something funny that like Pop and Todd said, like in his mentorship, he's like, this is very meditative. And at first I was just like, and then I tried it. I'm like, okay, let me try to see them getting in his head. And so I see you doing that, and I see you kind of doing I see you doing the mannequin. So do you find like similarities between those movements that you do? Obviously waving everybody knows waving is a very meditative state. But with the mannequin, do you find something like connection with Tai Chi when you're doing it?
Absolutely. You're spot on with that too, Serge. The movements from doing Tai Chi and the bounce that comes, and we'll get into this later as we discussed, where we're on the balls of the feet, the toes, the heels, where moving our body around the feet gives you a lot of sensitivity and strength. There's actually lots of muscles and more bones in your feet than are, I believe, in half your body. So, and all the muscles that connect there, it takes a while to develop that sensitivity. So when we do the drills, like Todd, by the way, Todd was a Tai Chi practitioner. He studied Tai Chi as well. Excuse me. The mannequin and the robot, all those types of actions that require us to manipulate our body and move on the feet without bending our legs like we're walking, translates back and forth. If you're a great robot person, you'll probably be able to pick up Tai Chi because of the subtleties and the balance of the feet and the rocking back and forth of shifting the body weight. And if you're a Tai Chi person like myself, you've developed a lot of the balance and what we call our center. So when me and you stand, I don't want to get into physicality too often. I know you're interviewing me, but if we stand, you can hardly see me here.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think the camera kind of dropped down a little bit.
Oh, it did. You can edit this.
You go. Yeah. You can just fix it right now. That's what I like about live streams, because it's kind of like you see it for what it's worth.
All right. There you go. Okay, so I guess to pick up your question to talking about the sensitivity that you develop from Tai Chi and how it translates to mannequin or like any animation, right? Is that the one thing I thought was really cool and I picked up quickly when I started getting interested in this dance, is that we play with what we call center when all of us stand, human beings are on our feet and our shoulders are usually, or ankles are even with our shoulders because it's a comfortable balance place to be. We can call this our center line, right? Or our center. And then when you play with Tai Chi, you play with that center by moving the weight over one leg and what they call emptying the other leg. So I'm only standing on one leg, but they call it emptying the one leg. And then you put that down gently and then you rock back on that leg. So this type of rocking motion where you're changing where your center is, but you're still erect and standing tall works real well because with mannequin, what do?
Yeah.
And all I'm really doing, if I can get it in the picture, it's hard to see my feet. I'm going to try to squeeze in here. Yeah, I'll have to build a recording studio for you. The next interview, Serge.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was sharing about was rocking on the feet. And when you do Tai Chi, there's a lot of this sinking and rocking, stepping out, moving the weight forward, rocking back, and my feet are on the ground. So I'm playing with this, what I call the center line, or the body's weight, center place, where you could find balance and be on one leg. So that applies really well to cameras that move.
It happens.
Goodness. All right, so we're getting a little off track here. So when we do the mannequin, or you do any type of movement where your whole body stiff, how do you get that movement to make it look like you're in the wind, right? And twisting is one thing, but when you're rocking, like a lot of us do with that animation, or you're doing the robot walk and you want to have that wobble, right?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So all that is me just rocking back and forth, which is very Tai Chi-esque. I like to use that word. You know?
Yeah. So you know what? Before you sit down, like let's
Sure.
get started, man. Let's do it. So I'm gonna right from here on out. Like you already got me. I'm like, all right, I want to start doing this. I'm
All
going
right.
to
Yo,
give
check it.
you.
It's helpful if you cue me on questions. A lot of times, like if you ask me a question, that was helpful because it kind of gives me a baseline to kind of go off of and try to compare the two. Like I know the topic matter is the transition from dance to Tai Chi, or Tai Chi tools that we gain from the art form in order to dance better. And that's what
Yeah.
we kind of touched on with the center balance and the whole mannequin thing, right?
Yeah.
That's cool stuff. That's enjoyable. It's easy for me to feed off
Translate.
that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and I'll be jumping in and out, like kind of asking you, but I just, you know,
Cool.
just give us the basics, man. And then I'll let you take over from here. From right now. This is the Dave Lillie show. All
Yeah, we're
right.
making room. And we're getting rid of the hanging swings. We're making room. We're taking off the
We're
gloves.
making it happen. So I'm going
All right.
to mute my mic. I'm gonna let you kind of do your thing, and
Okay.
I'm gonna be joining you. I'm gonna be watching you. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right, man, and go for it.
So Serge got me on the show today to discuss a couple of things. I've been jumping in with the Ill Skills group and the Dope Squad and showing everybody some of the Tai Chi applications that can be done for martial arts. And since I'm kind of a mixed martial art fellow, I always did my Tai Chi for the health purposes and the movement and the body strengthening. And then I was able to see the martial art applications in it because of previous training. So I can teach both, and I prefer to teach the one that can be used, God forbid, in a self-defense situation, just to ward off any energy we may not want in our happy field. Okay. So what I normally do to get started with people is we work on the opening, what we call the Chi exercise. And it's a simple exercise where we bend the knees a little bit. We keep our spine kind of erect. And don't pull your shoulders back so far, but have them activated, kind of like good posture. Like they would say to us in school as a kid, stand up straight, pull your shoulders back. So we have this like a elasticity in a sense, a little bit, where I can feel my shoulders and my knees bend a little. I take my glutes and I tuck them under. Go closer here. So I'm bending my knees. I'm tucking this. So this is activated. I'm rounding the shoulders. I'm not hunching over, but the shoulders are activated from earlier, and we're kind of just rounding them. And what it does is here it brings the arms forward. I'm not doing this with my arm. My arms are kind of just hanging still, and I'm using the shoulders, and they come out in front. So the first thing we would do would be this. We inhale, we exhale, and we sink. Bend the knees, tuck in the glutes around the shoulders. And we're feeling like we're suspended by a cable from the top of our skull going right through our spine, and we're kind of like spring-loaded. And you'll feel that elasticity, in a sense, in your knees. And all our appendages, our arms and our legs, as we move, should feel like we're in water or if you want to use honey, something thick, and it just helps us move slower. So that's the feeling we're looking for. So let's do this by counting off, and we'll go just into the first part where we're sitting in a relaxed position, ready for the opening movement. We inhale, and we exhale down, bend the knees, bend the shoulders, and we just sit in this moment. We pick up the left heel. 1. 2, we put all the weight in the right leg and we step out with the left. Maybe a little tricky when you first start to balance on a single leg, but the idea is you're on one leg. You're not putting the left leg or left toe down onto the ground by dropping it. You're dropping your right knee and sinking on one leg like a single leg squat, and that's when the toe touches. So we're in our opening position. 1, we lift the heel. 2, we step out and we bend the right knee and sink our weight slowly into the left toe as if we're testing, is this thin ice? Will it break? Will it take my weight? And then we bring the weight into the left leg by pushing off the right leg. We push until the right toe comes up a little bit. And then we sink back down and our weight's 50-50. So it looks something like this. 1, we inhale, we sink, left heel comes up, we step out, bringing the weight slowly in the left leg, transferring the weight from the right toe comes up, and we rock our weight back on the right. Now we're at 50-50, back to exactly where we started. We took our inhale and exhale into the position seated. Next phase. Once we're in this position and we have our 50-50, we're going to bring our hands sort of like the hands are fixed points. For those who are into the dance, your wrists are fixed and you kind of move the body away from the hands. This isn't an exaggeration, but I'm doing it so you understand that we're moving this way. At the same time, when weight goes into this leg, so we're pushing off the right, leaving the hands fixed in a sense, we're going to turn our hips and rotate on our heel. Right? We're going to bring the right hand up with that movement, bring the weight into the front, and hold the ball. Let's try that again. Inhale, exhale down. 1, heel. 2, touch. 3, right toe. 4, on the right heel, we come in and we hold the ball. Okay. I want to go over another point where we do the chi exercise, and then we'll incorporate that into the movement. When we inhale and exhale out and sink into our position, I'm feeling very spongy, and I'm kind of going to address this to all the dancers that be watching this that do mannequin, that do robot, and need a lot of foot control that me and Sergio were talking about. When I sink, play with this a little bit. The form does this where we stand underneath the shoulders and we're at 50-50 so we can move. But this drill is kind of interesting because it lets you play with the range of motion you have before you lose your balance. You can do both, and as you get comfortable, you can start playing with 1, where you're bringing the weight on the inside of the foot, the heel, outside of the foot, lost my balance there. And I'm playing by putting the weight around the feet. It's almost like if I drew a circle or the shape of my foot, I'm tracing it with a pencil. That's what I'm doing with my body weight. And that's been helpful to me to try to see where I'm at when I'm doing these kind of movements. There's a lot of that rocking going on. All right, back to Tai Chi. Mixing up the two art forms. Let's take it from the opening. So we inhale, exhale down, pick up the left heel, we step out, right toe, back to 50-50. When we're back to 50-50, I want us to do an exercise where we bring the wrists up as if a string is just pulling it up. And we do this with our miming stuff, right? But this is like a string. It's pulling your wrists up and your fingertips then point straight out. As if there's a flat plane or a tabletop from where my palms are to my chest. We drag our hands almost along that imaginary tabletop by dropping our elbows next to our body. So the movement would look like this. We sink, left heel 2, 3, toes, 4, the right toe, back to 50-50. And here we go. 5, we lift the wrists up. 6, we point the fingertips. 7, elbows are heavy. And wrists go first, downward, as if we're in a waterfall. And now we're back to the same position we were. So this movement gets us prepared to do the opening. This is the opening, rather. And this drill, I call the Chi exercise. It's like I'm massaging or going around a ball. It may not be perfect, but the concept is going around an energy ball or a Chi ball. This is where the metaphysics come in. Those that like to visualize energy or Chi, you'll feel something starting to happen. Your hands will be starting to feel heavy or tingly. I've had Erin said her hand started tingling. All right. Also, I like to play with the weight. We did a drill the other day where Todd had us going as far forward as we could before we bent our hip to keep our balance and rock back on our heels. And we can kind of play that same game, not to the point of losing our balance, but just to train and get it in our neurology where we are on our feet. Heather was talking about relax the toes. For many years, I used to grip the ground with my toes, like they do in certain karate systems. And now I'm learning to relax my toes, keep my toes up and get that rock over the ball of the foot. And we can do that by bringing the hands out, bringing back and moving. And make that Chi ball big, as big as you can, just to see where your body's at. But for the exercise, Tai Chi Chuan, we're going to keep it right here. Let's go through the count again. Okay, here we go. 1, we sink. 2, left heel. 3, touch the ice. 4, pick up the right toe. 5, 50-50. Bring up the hands like the Chi exercise. 6, point the fingertips. 7, heavy elbows. 8, fingertips up, wrist down first. 9, and we're back to where we started. From here, we move away from the hands, a fixed point, and then we pivot on that right heel like I discussed earlier. 11, and we hold the ball. If you noticed, all the weight's in the back leg. Look how empty the front is, but it looked like I had a lot of weight on it. As I rocked, I pushed off. There's a lot of this, when we turn, we push off the other foot and we sink to the back leg. And that's part of the illusion a lot of do with dance. We'll be empty-footed and we'll slide our foot. Right? We'll do this hard to do on the rug, but we'll be empty and the foot will move as if it's floating. And the Tai Chi is excellent for that because it strengthens the legs in a bent position that still let us do cool stuff. Right? So we're back to, I believe that was 9. We shift and right on the right heel, we hold the ball. We push off the back foot, and the left hand that's holding the chi ball or holding the energy in front of your stomach stays. So as we come and we bring the weight into the right foot, the right arm does move a little bit, and then we're physically bringing the hand over the other hand to hold the ball. So it looks something like this. I'm not really playing this mind game, but I'm letting you know that we have to move away a little bit so that this makes room for the hands to stay close to the body as we shift. And then as we come on the right foot and bring the weight in, the hand goes here. From here, we turn and face the weights in the right leg, and we put the left heel where the left toe was. And again, too, that's another practice where we're sitting empty. All the weight is in this right leg, and I'm bringing the right leg down to get the heel to touch. I'm not bringing this out and dropping it. I'm bringing it out and sitting. That's a lot for now. Let's see. I'm going to go over the exercise one more time and see if we can just follow along. I'm not going to count.
I'm going to show myself really quick doing it with you, so people see that I'm doing it.
Hey, bro, quick question.
It's kind of funny, but
no, it's all good. I have a tendency to put too much out there too quickly.
No, dude,
is it too much?
It's perfect. It's perfect. Like, it's easy to follow.
Okay.
The way you're explaining things are actually really great too. And
I don't want to digress, man. Like we were just kicking it. I'd be like, oh shit, you guys got to try this. Is that empty foot slide shit that Scott showed us? Because that single weight.
Yeah, but it's awesome because, like, I see this as a dance routine right now. Like, that's something like, that you can see, really see it. I like this whole, you're sitting down on it. Okay. You bring your arms up like a puppy move.
Yep. Yeah. Point the toe, point the fingers, heavy elbows.
Here.
Tabletop is the same. They talk. Yeah.
You're down here, and then you're here.
The box.
The box, dude. Yeah.
You can do the box.
Shift everything on your there, and then boom, and you bring it in.
Balance. You got it.
Like, that's such a. There's so much there that that's why I wanted to have this on here, because it's like a whole new way to, like, something new to explore. It's not just about the same kind of waving or popping stuff. Yep. There's martial arts out there that, like I always said, they go hand in hand. Dancing and martial arts goes hand in hand, because martial arts is a form of dance.
Yes, it is. You think about that team in New Zealand, the All Blacks, and they do that Polynesian war dance. Yeah.
The haka. Yeah.
That's it, dude. And like, I saw that one time and said, I wouldn't even want to get in the field with these guys. I'm ever scared. That's a terrifying. You got guys 300 pounds solid doing that kind of crazy dance. Those Polynesian boys are built big like that too.
Yeah, it's a war dance. That's what it is. It's a straight war dance.
Yeah, man.
So it's let's continue, man. I just wanted to show you that I was I'm doing it with you. I'm learning.
Can you get that video where you doing it? If we do the side by side, we'll do the side by side, counting it off. I mean, that might be bad if you could figure it out.
Yeah, I think that'll work right there. I mean, I don't have the space for it, but this works.
Man, this is crazy. I'm trying to get this thing set, man. Like,
no, I think yours is fine. Like, that's perfect right there.
You can see the feet.
Yeah. Actually, the whole time I could see your feet. So
that's good, man. That's why I cleaned up my dogs so they shine nice and bright. You can see. You need to see the feet. If you don't see the direction of the feet, it's confusing. I screw the
Yeah.
numbers up a lot. I know, because I teach. I haven't taught like breaking it down by numbers in a long time. The sequences, the number sequences, I don't have. You might catch a couple of glitches in that where I'll call it a number 2, but the first round was number 1, so I don't want to screw people up. It is what it is, but I made some glitches on the numbers, counting them off
No,
like
yeah,
1,
that's
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
yeah, no, that's
10.
fine. People it's something that like we're watching your movements, and it's just a good way, like, okay, I'm counting, and then once eventually someone will be like, okay, I can do it into once you start putting music to it, then you can start doing the 8 counts, or the 16
Yeah.
counts, whatever you want to do. So
Yep.
all right, I'm gonna mute my mic and we can continue.
All right, so we got the basics of the Chi exercise, which is basically the opening. Have to admit, I did goof. I left the Chi exercise at the opening of the form when I first did it, but a little nervous about the filming and knowing this is going out live. It's raw, so it is what it is, and you see what you see, and you love them or you hate them, right? So let's just go through it again. I'll try to be consistent on the numbers when I count down and the sequences. So let's see, we don't want to get the feet in there. All right. I want to go through the exercise one more time and just do it from the side so you can see the posture, right? We're standing erect, balanced, feet together. We inhale. And when you inhale, I wanted to talk about the breath for a moment. When we do locking and popping, we inhale and we fill the chest, which is when I was a young person, they'd say, take a deep breath, fill your chest with air. And it used to think that when you breathe properly, you were filling your chest on the inhale. Actually, that's improper. The proper breathing is to fill the belly or have the diaphragm pulled down so it sucks to fill the lungs with air. So when we do our breath, I just want to be certain that people are breathing properly. Don't fill your chest with air like we're popping. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, although that looks cool. We breathe, we inhale, and expand the belly. All right. Right. Here we go. And we exhale, and we sink. 1. 2, the heel comes up. 3, we step out and test the ice. 4, we bring the weight in and pick up the toe on the right leg. And 5, we put the weight back to 50-50. 6, strings are pulling the wrists up. 7, point fingers. 8, fingers are going along the tabletop, elbows are heavy. 9, wrists lead the way down. 10, here we are. 11, we move away from the wrists. 12, we pivot on the right front heel, and the weight is in the back leg. And we hold the ball. 12, we come in on the right leg and we bring the right hand in over the ball. We look over the left shoulder, and we're going to look down just for the sake of knowing what we're doing. We're going to take the left heel, all the weight's going to be in the right, and we're going to put the heel right where the toe was by bending the knee. So let's take it from 10. We did our opening. We're back to 50-50. 11, we move away from the wrists. 12, the weight is in the back leg, and we pivot on the right front heel, holding the ball out in front. 13, we come in and we bring the weight into the leg, and we hold the ball. Bring the right hand over this. Once again. Now, we're going to put the weight into the front left leg and going to turn the direction of the ball we're holding. So if my right hand was on top, now it's kind of in front of me on the side. And this hand stays there. The left hand stays there as the right hand drops down, as if I'm putting my hand on a tabletop or a little kid's head. And I'm going to push off the right leg. I'm trying to get back in the frame here. Sorry, Serge. And I'm going to move the weight into the left leg. When I get to the point where I can't go anymore because I'll be off balance, I peel up the right toe and I pivot on the heel, facing the same direction, and I bend and sit. So basically now my hips, my shoulders, my feet are all facing the direction that I first looked out over my shoulder. I'm going to try to count that off and make it a little easier to follow. This is a lot for the first part of the form. It's a lot of movement to memorize. So if you get lost, please don't feel that you don't have what it takes. It just takes a little time. And it's very hard I feel over the Zoom watching. Okay. So we did our opening, came back to 50-50. Now we're going to do the shifting and holding of the ball. Like 11, we move away. 12, we pivot on the right heel, motion weights on the back left, holding the ball. 13, we come in and we're holding like the ball. 14, I kind of open. I want to show this so you can see it. Here I moved away. I turned, held the ball. Look at the opening in the legs. It's almost like I'm making a T, heel to heel. Oh, sorry. But I'm here. So how I got there, I'm trying to get the right angle so you can see it, is I moved away from the hands. I pivoted on the right heel. I came in and held the ball. I looked over my shoulder, and the direction of my left foot is where I'm going. The heel goes where the toe goes by us dropping the weight with the right leg. Here's the part. Look how I'm facing. The feet, I'm almost open. Almost like I'm opposite of a duck walk, like a duck walk. So when I move and transition, the hips moving through space and time, hand is on the little kid's head. This rounded part, this is kind of rounded, and we call this the straight within the curve. This is not relaxed, just like when we do robot, and we have to, not that rigid, but there's a little flexibility. If
So
you push my
have some
hand,
tension in there while you're doing
there's a
that.
little activity, there's a little tension, but relaxed. And then even though the concept is the straight within the curve, they do this a lot when they round the shapes, whether it's the spine or the arm. There's strength in the elasticity of this straight within the curve. In other words, it feels like I'm doing this, stretching out, reaching for you as hard as I can right now, Serge. And then I relax. So now that I'm slightly bent, I still want to have that kind of where it feels like I'm straightening and I'm reaching for you, but I'm still bent. And that gives the strength in our structure. So when I hold straight within the curve here, my palm is even with my sternum. So I'll finish holding the ball here. I'll step out, right? We turn the direction of the ball, little kid's head. This palm is even with my sternum as I move. It really doesn't move that much. It's kind of like locked. Once I clear it and it's up in front of me, it's even with my sternum. Bring your left hand up a little bit more, like in front, even with your heart. Yes. There you go. And then the hips, your shoulders, once we do this, all face the same direction. And this is a posture they call ward off left. There's a few anchor points, I call them, through the form. And this if someone said to you, show me your ward off left, here's my left. Here's me warding off, keeping someone at bay. And this would be considered ward off left. You're feeling it. Look at the
Yeah,
smile.
no, it's good. I like it a lot. Like it's man, it's like honestly, I think that was like perfect, man. It's like a little something because it's you say it's a lot, but I think just it's the way you explain it is like I don't even have to look at your feet.
Okay.
You know,
Good.
I
Good.
don't have to look at your feet. It's really it's just like AJ Mega Man says, keep it simple, stupid. Like you keep it super simple. Like you make it um, easy to follow. And especially like us people that are dancing, that are popping, they're gonna follow that really easy.
Absolutely.
A lot of the movements, it's just energy ball. Just even from starting
Right.
here,
Right. Right. Yep.
taking the deep breath in, you kind of sink in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
come up with your hand, you're out, and you come out this way, sway, and then you come back here, boom, up,
Gee.
and you bring it in here.
Kind of like a wave, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without we don't really but here's the thing. We were talking about the other day. We got into this conversation about shooting this episode because I did a few things about the application. And you were saying you were seeing waves in the movement with the fluidity
Yes.
around we were doing the drills around the wooden man. And I never really thought about it until you brought that up actually. So it's changed my perspective even doing some of these techniques on the wooden man. So thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's crazy is that like when I watched you hit it, like hit the what do you call it? The wooden plank?
Wooden man or the jung,
Oh, yeah,
Jong,
yeah.
jung,
The jung.
jung, yeah.
Uh Even like when you hit it, I seen like
Yeah.
dime
Yep.
stops.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Or
that's
you
what
can
you
do
said. That
boom,
was the
boom,
terminology. Yes, dime stops.
boom,
Yep.
boom, double dimes. Like
That's
it's
what you said. Exactly. Right, right.
there's a lot of things there, and like that is a very good practice, which is you know it's amazing because you see all that energy is making the camera fall.
Damn. Yo, dude, I gotta get a camera set up some shit, son, because this is like it's
Yeah,
fun. This has been, what, it's all kid aside.
it's
It's
all
it's a
good.
little weird.
It's raw material. And so if you
It's
guys like what you guys are
absolutely
seeing, like you can contact Dave right there at Push Monkey. That's his IG. But let's give it
okay.
let's give it like one or two more rounds, man.
Absolutely. And look, I guess if it's easier for you just to get into the movement, I can count them off and kind of say where we're going so you don't have to look. Because when we're in person, it's easier to do it where you can follow along because you can move
Yeah,
around the teacher and see the angles because this stuff moves around different angles. So I'll call it out again. And so we have an idea where we're
perfect.
going.
And
Cool.
I'll
That
just
sound cool?
spotlight you. I'll just spotlight you, and
All
I'm
right.
following along. Okay.
All right. All right. Let's take a clearing breath. Fill the belly. There's no rush. Take a few breaths. Get set up. Centered. Feel your points of contact on your feet. Where are you standing right now? Me, I'm seeing the wind blow through the blinds I have on my deck and the trees move. I could feel the wind on my body. And this will be my morning meditation. Inhale in, exhale out, and we'll begin with the next inhale. And begin. We sink. Pick up the left heel, 2, 3, test the ice with the left toe, dropping the weight into the left toe by dropping the weight on the right leg. 4, we're bringing the weight into the left leg, and our right toe heels up. We pivot on the right heel back to 50-50. 5, we take the wrist and we go straight up as if they're being pulled by a string. 7, we point the fingertips. 8, the elbows are heavy, bringing the fingertips along the tabletop. 9, we drop the wrists, fingertips follow. And 10, we're back at opening. 11, we move away from the hands, weight is in the left leg. 12, we pivot on the right heel, facing the direction of the right toe. 13, I believe, we put the weight into the right leg and we bring the right hand in to hold the ball. We look over our left shoulder. 14. 15, we put the heel where the left toe was and we bring the leg down by bending the right leg, sinking. 16, we bring the weight gently into the left leg and we shift the direction of the ball. Right hand goes down, left hand in front, even with your sternum, same height as your heart. 17, we pivot on the right heel, we lift up the right toe, and we shift, facing, standing in ward-off left. Take a moment, adjust your body weight in this ward-off left. This is a posture that is great to train and practice and hold. You want a strong exercise, you can go lower. Be mindful of where your shoulders and hips are, that you're aligned. If your elbow is heavy, there is a straight within the curve, a rounding, but an active muscle tension, but not rigid. Active. Sink, lower. Inhale. Sink. Get the back right heel flat. Stretch the calf. Bring the weight forward. Try not to bring the knee past the toe. It's not good for the body or the joints. There's a couple of postures we can practice standing or sitting and training in. Ward-off left, we just did. We can do single whip, where we stand out wide, almost like our feet are at a 90-degree angle. Can you bend the legs? The left elbow's heavy, kind of even, with just the outside of the right thigh. And Professor Chen Men Ching is the master of this particular system, Chen Men Ching, Yan-style Tai Chi. He called this beautiful lady's hand, where the plane of the top of the hand and the fingertips is even with the forearm. So this isn't beautiful lady's hand, although it hinges. This is smooth, right? And the elbow's heavy. We make the beak like a bird's beak. Bring your thumb into your fingers, like these two peace fingers. And we sit. Opening the chest, feeling all your shoulder blades opening and closing by playing with the strengthening and stretching of this posture. Play with it. Hold the posture, relax, and then take some time stretching out all the muscles, the tendons, the sinew, and hold it till your legs shake. And this will develop incredible strength that we need to do the single-legged squats that Tai Chi requires to move slowly and gracefully. There's a lot of emptiness in single leg technique with Tai Chi, so it's important to get this strength and have it be elastic, right? That's a lot. So I go on,
that
sir,
is a
if you
lot. I
want
think
more.
that's to this point right here. I think it's
You
I
see
think
how when
it's
I taught the class, I did like Whitney, like a meditation, man. I slowed it down because the teaching sucks, but doing the form is relaxing. I try to bring that in when after you get done teaching, I recenter myself by just doing the form as meditative as I can while teaching it.
yeah.
You know? And I'll do a round after the session's over. I'll do a round just to recenter myself. When we give out energy and we teach, it's good sometimes to take a little time for yourself to regroup because we are giving. And I re-energize myself by doing a round where we had that really bad signal with the internet this morning by the tree. That's my spot. Like you have a spot at the park, like a magical tree location, bro. Like
Well,
I got that
you know
spot.
what? That spot is my like is a spot that I chose to like wave at, but like my real spot, I could never get service there. Never. Like, you know, I don't know if it's the trees or maybe just the signal is not good in that specific area. Anywhere else, I get great signal, but the reason I like that spot is because it's like a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it, and so
Nice.
and but that's my spot, and yeah, it sucks when I go in there. I'm like, oh man, but yeah, no, this was great. This is really great. I you know, it feels very fluid, and with the tension, it feels exactly what I thought it would be. You know, and
Good,
I
man.
love
Good.
that you kind of put in a little bit, made some references to dancing, to popping, references to that because yeah, it like you took it out of my mouth because you're just like, oh, this is kind of like this. I'm like, oh, hey, it's exactly what it is. It's like, you know, and that's why I feel like it's important to not only this kind of connects dancing with a meditative sense, you know, it's like it puts the everything together. And so when generally when people do Tai Chi, if they do it to music, like would it be like the meditating music, or would it be like, do they have specific music for it?
That's a good question, actually. I've done it all, to rock and roll or to hip hop. I find that flute music, a lot of times if you go onto YouTube or Spotify or whatever you use, I use SoundCloud, and just put in Tai Chi music, you'll get a lot of rhythmic drum beats, very similar to meditation frequency stuff that helps people rest or sleep at night. You'll hear flutes, a lot of flute music, because the drumming doesn't necessarily flow and connect with the movement. The timing of the movements, kind of like we do broken time and they'll do warping.
Yeah.
Right. It has a different, the Tai Chi doesn't warp like, well, it does actually. We'll get into that maybe in another episode where you can see the explosive energy of Tai Chi called Fajin, which is a hit. Right.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
All that came from a lot of, like, okay, for instance, you were a boxer. Do you remember the power of a quick jab? Pop.
Yeah. Quick
so
step,
that's a
jab.
hit, right?
Yeah.
It's a hit. So with Tai Chi, I don't want to digress too much. We can go on forever, but there's an exercise or an explosive energy called Fajin. It's Fajin.
Fajin.
And what it is that's Bruce Lee talked about it when he got interviewed a long, long time ago, where he said it's like a heavy ball that's like if you whip a towel, it'll make a really stinging mark, or it'll leave a very tiny focused pain, right? Fajin is like a heavy ball that someone might have on a chain gang, and you whip the chain like you would the towel, but when that ball hits, it's going to hit with force and impact and solidity. And that's done from all the generating we do in dance as well as the Tai Chi. That's what, when we do the Chi exercise, we didn't get into it, but there's a little micro spiral in there. That's kind of metaphysical that we do.
Yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
yeah, how we wave and right.
Yeah.
So all this movement is in there and it spirals upward and comes out. Bang. So that Fajin I was able to emulate, not really do it well, but start to learn the concept of popping and hitting because it was very similar to Fajin. So that's kind of interesting that I probably could teach the explosive energy to people who are poppers quicker than I could to an average citizen because they understand that sudden stop with that reverberation, that heaviness, bop, bop, bop. But your body has to be prepared to do it. Like with Tai Chi, you train all the stretching and all the moving and all that type of stuff is working the joints so that when you have that explosive energy, the body can contain the force and not get injured. You won't dislocate some type of ligament or a bone because the force is great. You can generate great force with this form.
Yeah. Wow. That's
yeah.
No. I love that because it's kind of like I said, you are relating what you love to do with this because you said I think remember popping and this this dance style is fairly new to you, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I only started during the end of the pandemic, so I'm talking 6-7 months. Plus, about 9 months now. I've been with Todd 2 months, and you guys.
Yeah. And hey, like, and you know what's just watching you and just the movements I wouldn't be able to tell. I would think we were doing it longer.
Thank you.
Like
that's encouraging. I
yeah,
feel like
well,
it's terrible.
For real. I think a lot of people then when they watch this, they'll be like, "Yo, like it looks like he's been dancing longer," you know, because some of those movements, it's like when you relate Tai Chi to it, it comes out like you're like, "Oh wow." You know, a lot of the mannequin, it comes out and like it's really natural to you. And sometimes the funny thing about it is it's just like maybe that switch in the mind instead of like, going, okay, I'm doing it as a popper. No, like do it as a Tai Chi or as a martial artist, and then just add what you know on top of that, and it just throws something completely different.
Oh, the two worlds blend. I mean, I think the control of the body, Tai Chi, when I break it down by the numbers as we were doing it, I remember my teacher doing it almost like the robot. He actually danced. Michael used to dance a little bit. He used to wave in the class, and he actually was probably about your age. And and he would break it down almost like a robot. That's where the first emulation for me is to him to do robot, to look like a machine, you know. I mean, working with Mega Man, AJ, and Todd, it brings it to a whole different level. You become a believable machine rather than just a great party trick, you know, from drunken family members. So, oh, Uncle Dave, do it again, you know. I made a joke. I digressed. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, man.
No. Yeah.
Oh, about
But
the crossing of the two worlds.
okay.
The crossing of the two worlds, and until I was able to emulate it quickly because of the Tai Chi and the balance. I mean, I was able to do the silly walks, the balance stuff. We touched on very earlier in the episode about the range of motion around both feet together, and then the range of motion on one foot. That's Tai Chi thing, man. So,
so you really related with Whitney Lane's kind of
the
where she
points
was
of
doing
contact.
the points of contact.
Whitney. We should actually give a blessing and a shout to Whitney for that.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful teaching some of the group members with that points of contact. Yeah, I'm using it actually.
Yeah, it was
man.
That's something that like in the physical therapy world, that's what we use. Like that.
Oh, you use that terminology?
Yeah, we use that terminology. So like, yeah, that's when she was telling us that, I was just like, oh wow. Yeah. Like when somebody has an ankle injury or they have a foot injury, you know, and they have to kind of retrain on that because anytime you injure a muscle, we have to work the joints below the injury and above the injury, and sometimes even higher than that, you know, because there's a lot of compensation that goes into an injury. And so when we're teaching that, we teach the 3 points of contact with the big toe, we say the pinky toe and the fourth and fifth metatarsal, and then the heel, you know. And we have them kind of just sit while they're sitting down. They're just using their ankle to be able to just kind of do exactly what we're doing, just use the range of motion. We'll have them get on the knee and we'll put a band around their ankle, and they'll do like we call them knees, like ankle rockers, and they just rock back and forth, just to get that range of motion. We also teach them how to arch their foot, and it's more of the idea of arching their foot. So if they're like flat here, let me get myself back into the picture.
There you go, man. There's my man.
Here,
there he is.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I thought I was already back on. But so when you're here, you start boom, boom. That's what you want to do to the middle of the foot, but it takes those 3 points of contact to be able to do that. So all of that stuff, like, it makes sense, because that's all you're using: mobility, range of motion, to be able to control your body. So when she was talking about that, I was just like, I got it. And then when we talked, me and Whitney talked, like, she was explaining some things, and like, she's like, yes, you understand what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I do understand what you're saying. We can use those medical terms because I understand that.
Yeah, Heather lays him down. Heather knows all the muscle groups. She was speaking Latin yesterday afternoon. She was mentioning all the muscles. It was the group. We've been very blessed with the amount of people, or the type of people, that were in this particular session. For me, to come into a group, like, thinking I'm going to do a better party robot, because I love to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to turn into this, where it rekindled my interest in teaching. People found Tai Chi useful in the crossover of what we're doing with this art form, but mostly the friendships and the heart connections I met with bros like you and some of the ladies in the class. I believe these are connections that are ordained and divine, because I've grown a lot, not only as a dancer, as a guy who likes to robot and animate and do all this fun stuff, but it got me back on my path as a healer and a teacher. I mean, you're a healer. That's what you do, man. And Whitney's a healer. God teaches dance, but he uses it as a healing modality. So this thing has blown my mind open and got me to a place where I'm looking at things completely different, which was right on time, as it should be. Like most things, it is as it should be.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I do believe, like, this is a healing. It's healed me when I was going through my struggles, through the pandemic, and it's brought me back to life. If it wasn't for actually two things, the 75-day hard challenge, the original, and dancing, like, I wouldn't be doing these things, type of stuff, if it wasn't for the support system that I have, like with my homies, like Nate Navas, the podcast doctor one, the guy that I've been telling you about, that I've mentioned him here a bunch of times, for my friend, really close friend, like family, Diana Banjo. She has encouraged me to kind of like, hey, you should kind of do this, and she supports me with different things. So, like, I got really good friends and really good support system, and that encouraged me to do all this type of stuff, and really it just takes one it only takes one reason to do it, but we have millions of reasons why not to do it, but it only takes one reason to do it. And so one thing that I'm out, and I'm going to do this live, and I'm going to challenge you with, is do a 45-day, like, just go live for 45 days.
Wow.
Just do something that's going to, I would like to see a lot more of this, where you can kind of build on top of it, like day 1, day 2, and just kind of add it could be a 5-minute class or something like that, but just something that adds on, where you're kind of doing a whole routine of Tai Chi, and at the very end, you taught everybody the motion, how to do everything. All right, building off from yesterday, boom, we went from here, we went from there, and you just build and build and build, and guess what? You have your content. That'll be great, man. I would definitely, like, be jumping on that, because this right here, what we just did, like, I want to, like, I am going to go to the garden today and go practice that and use that in my dance. I want to see what I can create
Wow,
from
that's
that,
awesome,
from
dude.
that,
That's
from
awesome.
that motion, And when I do it, like I'm gonna send you the video. I'm gonna send you the video so you can see like
Right
what I
on.
was working on. But yeah, man,
That's
this has been
great.
fun. It's great, dude. I love
It
this.
has been, man.
Man, I would love to do this again. Maybe we can talk about making this something that we do maybe weekly or something like that.
I'd love to do it, man. I love to teach. I don't attach. The big hardest thing for me is time. When the time is available, and then when the time isn't available, that's the hard time for me. For me to push through and say got home at 9, I'm tired, but I owe someone an hour video. I owe this man, and you have to do it. I think Nicole came on one night. She posted something. She goes, "I'm doing it because I have to," and here it is. And she didn't just fludge through it. She gave it it was a pop and dance. I gave her double flames. I was like, for a woman to feel like she wanted to do it, she did pretty good, So I'm getting inspired by you folks. I got to be honest with you. And I love this moment. These sessions have been powerful. Just listening to you share, honestly, brother, we've had these conversations, and I think that if it affected me this way, and all I'm doing is just trying to pay attention a little, just get outside of my head and listen to some other wisdom, and recognize other wisdom and be humble and say, hey, man, that touched me. So that's what, hopefully I can do that with my art form and that I share, and it can help change lives, man,
I mean, that's what it is. All I ever want to try to create is a ripple effect. Me
there it is.
Inspire one person or 2 people, 3 people, however it may be, but then it just kind of keeps going down the line,
Yeah.
It's like, we promote positivity, promote like, hey man, get out of your comfort zone. I'm like, get the fuck out of your comfort zone and do some shit like that's gonna make you better. Like
Absolutely.
That's what I really believe, and me doing a lot of these things is kind of like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I am exposing myself, and the one thing that you think about, like somebody's gonna jump out and say, you're a fraud. I'm like, like, well, I don't know how I'm a fraud, but like I'm trying not to be a fraud, So,
no, I listen.
Like,
you got the badass headset. You got the cool microphone. You got the coffee cup, man. I told you from the first show I watched, I was like, I'm tuning into. I love this moment, man. This band's got me. I'm subscribing to this, and it's what you talk about, bro. I mean, without reiterating, it's this will work, whether it's something like you're doing this podcast. But I feel there's big things ahead for you and the folks that are connected, especially the group that we connected through. This mentorship group has been. I have probably 20 states I visit to visit sisters and brothers, and get our dance on, man. It's really an exchange ideas, because everyone's a master in their own right. So I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of people. You have a deep pool of resources. You should grab Heather. She is she's a piece of work. She does belly dancing, and she knows exercise physiology. She's a pro. I think you would enjoy interviewing her.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I know she's on the group. I sent a big invite. Slowly but surely, as you get confidence, you're like, okay, let me get more people in. Let me get more people in.
Right.
It's just sometimes you get kind of it's just one of those things. You slowly building yourself up to it, and then also like I like to kind of watch the group, make sure what they're feeling, because sometimes like small intimate group is one thing, but once it starts kind of getting bigger, some people might feel a little like, I don't know if I want to post, and that's not what this is about. The last thing that I want is people in the group to feel uncomfortable, and we should be supporting each other with all our endeavors and everything that we want to do, like posting these things, and especially like when it relates to like the dance style, like if it's Tai Chi, how do you relate Tai Chi to our dance? Super, like you don't even have to explain it. Everybody's gonna be like, I know what to do. It just clicks. It really just clicks. Okay.
You got me laughing, man. That sounds like an AJ question. That's something AJ would hit you with. He goes, okay, Dave, you're a Tai Chi guy. I want to see Tai Chi cyborg trying to be a robot. I want to see he wants me to split my body, half cyborg, half robot. He asks these wonderful questions, but that's a great way of framing it. I'm glad that we could do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to come and work with you, I did drop like your IG and Facebook in there, but like how else can they reach you?
Facebook and Instagram, I'm not gonna put my telephone number out there. They
No,
friend
for
me.
sure not.
They have access to the number that, but you could find me. Or I'm actually rebuilding a website under my name. But I'll let you know when that goes live. I have a couple of different pages on there that they can of different things I'm involved in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got your at Push Monk. Sorry.
Pushy with a
Monk.
Y.
Oh, okay. Pushy.
That's all good.
at Pushy Monk on IG. And they also got your Facebook, which is at Dave Lillie. So it was, man, this was really fun, man. And
we'll
I
definitely
really
do this
enjoyed
again,
it.
Serge. You got me thinking about some stuff to come up with so that we can frame this thing in small, manageable bites. And the dance comparison is something that really was instilled to me during this time that we spent today. So I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm going to have that on my mind. It's a great tool to use for both Tai Chi and dance, you know.
And it opens up your viewers and the people that want to watch you. So that's, if you need help with that, you know, I'm here, man. I'm here. But
I know, man. You got you, buddy. Love you, man. Thank you.
Man. So let's we're gonna end this right here, you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.